Hey everyone, I just wanted to pop on a couple minutes early, make sure that everything is working properly. So if you can hear me, just type in the chat box that you can hear me, and I'll be back in a few minutes to start the presentation. Thank you for being here. All right, I am back and I want to get started promptly. I would just love to value your guys' time and my own, of course. And so I just want to get started, get you guys good information. I want to get started promptly. Little feedback there. Sorry about that. I think we're good to go now. All right, let me see if I can get my camera on so you guys can see me. Hey, hi everyone. Hair is a little crazy, but I'm just excited to be here with you guys today. And I know that this is just an impromptu webinar, so I want to definitely thank the people that were able to come and make it. And I just had this urge to do this webinar and talk about, the amazing and drastic changes that happened since January of this year, which many of you maybe have saw my first webinar of from the 0 to 100K in 3 months, which was a hit, which I'll be talking a little bit about again tonight. But I just wanted to do this again to show you how quickly and how dramatically things can change for you in your business, whether you are just transitioning, whether you're just starting, whether you are literally starting with zero, whether you have no list. If you have the drive and you have the right mentality and you have the right mindset, pretty much anything is possible for you. So I want to really show you guys that. I want to show you, my humble beginnings and my entire journey, from when I really decided that I was going to be an entrepreneur and the tough times that I had and how I completely turned that around, and it happened really, really fast. And I just want to show you guys all of that so that you can be inspired to make the same changes for yourself if you're not where you want to be, or maybe you are where you want to be and you want to go even bigger, which is fantastic as well. And also, like I mentioned, I am going to go over the 100K in 90 days, so that you can take that. Make sure that you have a pen and paper so that you can take notes. I want you guys to take notes. I literally want you to steal exactly what I did, because it is something that's replicatable. It's something that you guys can literally do yourself. So I'm going to switch over to the slides now. You see here. All right, if you guys can give me a thumbs up and let me know that you can see the slides, that would be fantastic. All right, thank you everyone for being here. I actually have a few more people on the line than I expected, considering didn't really require anybody to opt in, and I was just kind of putting it out there. Hey, Rachel, Natisha, Kim, Claire. Who else is on here with me? Catherine, Sherlyn, Paige, Shannon, Jen Blanchard. Woohoo. Thank you guys so much for being here. Awesome. So you guys can see the slides. I'm just going to jump right in then. All right. So first, like I mentioned, and I said it 3 times already, but I really do want to thank you guys for being here. I know how valuable your time is. I know how many other webinars and things are going on, and trainings and things that you download. So the fact that you are taking the time to be here with me tonight is amazing. So thank you. So who am I? For those of you who don't know me, and for those of you who do, just want to give you a quick background. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on this. If you want to find out about me, you can do that on my website. So I'm a best-selling author. I'm a visibility coach and a business strategist. I work with coaches and online entrepreneurs to help them get in front of their ideal clients by showing up and standing out in a crowded industry. So far, I have coached hundreds of women entrepreneurs to get more clients, to make more money, and to achieve success online. So my background actually is in marketing and social media. I have over 10 years of experience in marketing and social media, which is, I think, why this is so fun for me. And I really am passionate and love this part of business. I actually had a clothing line that I built from zero to an internationally known brand that was featured on reality TV shows and MTV. That was pretty fun. And I also ran social media for one of the largest casino resorts in Atlantic City. I've been published on Huffington Post, Mind Body Green, Elite Daily, pretty much all of the big named media outlets. I'm working on a few more. And I've also co-authored the best-selling book, Against the Grain with Brian Tracy. And I've also been featured on dozens by now, podcasts and online telesummits. So if you want to grow your business online, if you are an entrepreneur that gets your clients online, I am the girl to help you blow up. All right, so I always start with my why, and the reason why is because this is everything. This is when my life changed. My life changed when I had this little boy whose birthday was 2 days ago. He just turned 5, and it really put things into perspective for me as to what I wanted to do with my life, what I wanted for my future, what I wanted for him, the lessons that I wanted to teach him, the role model that I wanted to be for him. So this is so important, to really have something that's really strong, pulling you to do whatever it is that you want to do. So if you're in this business, if you're just starting, if you're an entrepreneur, if you have big goals and big dreams, this why is the thing that's really going to keep you going. It's the thing that is going to make everything else worthwhile. When you feel like quitting, when you feel like you don't want to do it anymore, you feel like it's not going to happen, your why is going to keep you going. At least for me, I know that my why is what keeps me going. So what is your why? I want to know. So chat it up. Tell me what your why is, and it doesn't have to be family. Maybe your why is money. Maybe your why is freedom. Maybe your why is that you want to pay off your debts. Maybe your why is that you want to travel across the world. You don't have to have a why that is, family or child or anything like that. It can just be whatever it is. What's that one thing that drives you, that keeps you going when this shit gets tough? Because trust me, it's going to get tough, and there's going to be ups and downs, which I'm going to talk about in just a few minutes. Freedom, family, money, and freedom. Freedom. I love freedom. I really think that that is the core of all of us entrepreneurs and what we really want. We just want freedom, whether that's time freedom, money freedom, freedom to be able to travel, freedom to do whatever the hell we want to do. Freedom is huge. Awesome. Love your answers, guys. Awesome. Perfect. Self-fulfillment and money. Yes. And don't be afraid to say money. It totally can be money, right? Because if you're just doing this because you want to help people and you want to, support people, then, you can do that a million different ways. You can volunteer, you can donate to charity. So be okay with wanting money. All about it. All right, so in this presentation, I'm going to talk about how I went from $38K at my full-time gig, which I thought was a really good salary at the time, to going to $0 in the same year that I decided I wanted to start my business, to $35,000 my first/second year of business, to just about 500K this year, which we have a month and a half left. So it's definitely going to reach that and more. So I'm going to show you guys step by step exactly what I did. So like I said, make sure that you have your pen and paper handy. All right, so I'm going to start in 2013 because this is the year that I decided that I wasn't going to work for a corporate anymore. I had actually been laid off from 2 jobs in a matter of probably 18 months after I had my son. I was laid off from my original job. I, had unemployment for a little while, and then I got a new job, which I really loved. I was getting paid $38,500 for the year, which I thought was excellent. It was actually my highest paying job ever. And then in the beginning of 2013, it was actually the day after New Year's when I came into work, I was laid off. There was a massive layoff at the casinos, and I think about 60 people were laid off. And unfortunately, I was one of them. So that was really the point for me that I decided I was tired of having somebody else dictate my future, my income, what I was going to make, whether I was going to have a job or not. So that happened in January of 2013. In February of 2013 is when I found Marie Forleo and B School. I was so enamored by her. I really was just amazed at the possibilities that were available to me outside of working in a corporate job. And I started B School. I didn't have any money because I was laid off, and I actually hadn't worked at that job long enough to collect unemployment. So what I did was I convinced my husband at the time to put it on his credit card. I took the four payment plan. I think it was $500 a month, and we put it on the credit card. A couple months later in April, I went to life coach school. I got certified. I knew I wanted to help people. I knew I, wanted to make an impact on the world. I knew I wanted to, coach people and help people in their lives. So that is the path that I was on. And then life happened. So that first year, that 2013, was really, really tough for me. For those of you who don't know my story, I actually went through divorce. And because I had no income at the time and my husband left the house, I didn't have enough money to pay to stay in the house with me and my son. I tried for a few months, but the bills were really just racking up and I couldn't do it anymore. It was really stressful for me to be able to, or to have to, pay rent, pay the electric bill, pay the gas bill. So I went through a lot of tough times. I also had, at the end of that year, a surgery, and I ended up gaining 40 pounds at the end of that year. It was just a really, really stressful time in my life. I had to move back in with my parents, just really, really bad stuff. I had a lot working against me in that first year that I decided to become an entrepreneur. So that year, no surprise, I made absolutely zero money. I had started my website. I started some social media channels. I was doing little things here and there, but I just had so much going on personally that I didn't put myself out there. I didn't really know how to. I didn't ask for the sale. I don't even think I had a work with me page on my website. So it was really, really tough for me that first year. I was really just flailing, like things just were not going great. After I did B school, I was really, really stuck on finding a niche, which is something that I'm so passionate about now with telling people, like, just start. Don't let this get you stuck. I feel like it does get a lot of people stuck, is we feel like, at least I know I felt like I had to have a niche. If I didn't have a niche, if I didn't know who my ideal client was, I couldn't get started. And so that's pretty much what I did. I didn't know what my niche was. I had no idea who my ICA was. I was even too shy to do my target market surveys or get people on the phone. So I really did nothing that entire year. In January of 2014, I decided to get real. I found my niche, or what I thought was my niche, in relationship and confidence coaching for women. So I wasn't really helping people with their, relationships per se, but I was helping women that were in bad relationships find their confidence again and find their self-esteem. So that's what I did for a little while. In that January of 2014, when I got that spark of inspiration, I wrote my first opt-in, which was an ebook. And I was so proud of myself that I actually got it up there. I started doing challenges on Instagram. I did my first challenge on Instagram. I think it was either January or February of 2014. And I just started, I just got to the point where it just started. If you guys, your screen froze, just hit refresh. So from there, I just started doing challenges, started getting a little bit more visible. In 2014, actually, Instagram was my #1 marketing tool. I didn't even use Facebook groups at all in 2014. It was all Instagram. So for those of you who like that platform, and for those of you who maybe don't like Facebook groups, there's so many other options for you guys to really get your name out there. You just got to choose the one thing that you enjoy and you like, and the one thing that works for you. So in February of 2014 I hired my first coach with my tax return. So I remember I think it was like a $2,500 tax return. So it was like my first big chunk of money that I've gotten. Throughout that year, I was doing like little stuff here and there, little freelance jobs. I would get paid like $300 here, $400 there to help people with their social media and things. So I hired my first coach. It wasn't really a long-term coaching relationship. I was still a little clueless about that. What I did was I hired someone for an intensive. So I ended up working with someone for 3 hours. She helped me kind of hone in on my business, what I wanted to do. Obviously, it didn't work because I was still very, very confused. I was out of alignment, which I found out later. So anybody that's struggling in your business, check in. Really check in with yourself. Check in if this is what you're truly supposed to be doing. For me, it wasn't. The life coaching, the confidence coaching, it was not what I was supposed to be doing. And, my body and my mind knew that. And so things didn't happen, it didn't feel good. Even though I was gaining traction in my business, I was actually starting to book clients. I was growing my Instagram following. I was growing my list, but I wasn't loving it, because I was totally out of alignment with what I was supposed to be doing, which is what I'm doing now. So midway through the year, I actually had my first official launch had no clue what I was doing at the time. I just kind of, was going by what I saw other people doing, what I took in some courses. I think that launch brought in, I think it was about $8,000. Which actually wasn't bad, right? For my first launch. I think I spent $60 in Facebook ads, and I had like an $8,000 return. So not bad. Now in September of 2014 is when I hired my first real coach. This completely changed me, which is why I'm so passionate about coaching and why I'm so passionate about people who are in this industry, whether you are a coach yourself or whether you're a consultant or a copywriter or a web designer or a healer or a psychic or whatever you are. It is so important to get help. It is so important to have a mentor, to have somebody that is going to take that bird's eye view of your business and take that look from the outside and show you things that you're never going to see on your own. During that time that I was working with my coach, I worked on my mindset and my money shit a lot. This was huge for me. My mindset and my mindset around money was so bad that, it was no wonder that I wasn't really breaking that barrier. I was making about $5,000 a month, which is not bad considering, everything else that was going on. And, I had literally just started that year. So it wasn't bad, but it was kind of like I was stuck there. It wasn't like I was going to have those 10K months or the 20K months because I didn't believe at the time that I could. My mentality was stuck at that, right around that $5,000 a month mark. So that's pretty much where I stayed. And like I mentioned, $5,000 a month is not bad. That's actually, if you multiply that by 12, it's $60,000. So $60,000 a year isn't bad to work for yourself. So I'm not, saying that. But for me, I wanted bigger. And I knew that the $5,000 a month wasn't enough for me. Also, during the time that I worked with my coach, I gave myself permission to shift. I gave myself permission to transition into doing what I'm doing now. And once I was able to really work on my mindset, work on my money stuff, and be okay with the fact that I was going to transition into something that was more in alignment, that's when everything changed for me. So we're approaching almost a year that I had my first 5-figure month. So I figured this stuff out. The mindset stuff, I contribute at least 80%, if not more, maybe even 90% of my success to work on my mindset. So if you are at a point in your business where you're just, not getting over that hump, or you have a plateau, or there's just some kind of income barrier or a glass ceiling for you where you make, a certain amount of money, but you just can't get past that, work on your mindset, work on what you believe you're worth and what you believe you can actually receive into your life. All right, so now I'm actually going to talk about this year because this is the year where things have just been on such an upward trajectory that I really feel like it's important. Like I really felt it was important for me to talk about all of the struggles that I had up until now. So, now I'm entering the third year of, when I decided to start my business. So even though I made no money in the first year, this is the third year of me trying. Okay. So anybody that's been doing this, if you've only been doing it for a few months, if you've been doing it for a year and you feel like you're not gaining traction, just keep going. Don't quit. Keep going, keep switching it up. If you have to change and you have to really get to that point where you're in total alignment, just keep doing it. Whatever you do, don't quit. The people that are not successful are the people that quit. It's that simple. If you keep going and you keep putting your heart into it, you'll be successful. It might take you a little bit longer than some other people, but either way, as long as you keep going, you will reach what you want to reach. So January of 2013, I just wanted to show you guys, this is actually a screenshot from my bank statement in January of 2014. 2015. So as you can see, I was, gaining a little bit of traction, had some money, but of course I had, bills piled up. I had, I was paying for my coach at the time. So I had a lot of expenses. And if you can see here on January 12th, my balance was $48.42. So, this is the beginning of this year. This is, almost a year ago, 11 months ago. And then you can see a little bit how it started to go up and up and up and up and up, which was really awesome at the time. So just want to show you guys there how quickly things can change. Catherine says the slides are blurry. Are the slides blurry for anybody else? All right, so anybody that's watched my other webinar, some of this might look familiar to you, and the reason is because this stuff is so important that I felt like I wanted to talk about it again. So what I want to talk about is how I got that upward trajectory, how I went from, making zero to making $5,000 a month consistently, to having my first 5-figure month, to never having less than a 5-figure month ever. This entire year. So the things I did consistently, in addition to my mindset work, was marketing. So I told people what I did all the time, which was a huge mistake that I made in my first year. My first year, I didn't tell anybody what I did. So hence why I made no money. So marketing, telling people what I did all the time. I was giving lots and lots of value. I was sharing my story. I was sharing my successes, sharing my failures. I was just being human, really. And people started to connect with me. It was really, soulful marketing. It was really, just, not sleazy type stuff, just really going out there and trying to inspire people and help people. And at the same time, telling people what I did. The second thing I did was promotions. So I posted in Facebook groups back then at least 5 to 7 times a week. Sometimes if I had a lot to say, I would actually post 3 to 4 times a day. So I really had no shame, because at that point in time, I was ready to go. I was ready to make the money. I was ready to make it happen, and I had no shame. So if I annoyed people in groups, oh well, I didn't care. I just wanted to get my message out there. I wanted to get my face out there. I wanted people to talk about me. I wanted people to know about me, which is why I'm so passionate now about visibility and why it's so important, because you can be amazing at what you do. You can be an amazing writer. You can be an amazing designer. You can be an amazing coach. You can be, amazing at what you do. But if people don't know about you, it doesn't matter. You won't make the money. You won't get recognized, and you won't make the impact. So this is why visibility is so important. Next, I did a newsletter every single week. Every week I was consistent. I made a decision, even though I started with a small list, that I was going to give valuable information to the people on my list every week. At that time, I was sending it every single day or every single week on the same day and the same time. I was very, very consistent. As you can see at the bottom, consistency is key. The next thing was connect. So I created relationships with people on Facebook, on LinkedIn, in groups, and Instagram. I created relationships with collaborators, with peers. This is so important to have these relationships, because you can't do this on your own. You can't, do it by yourself, which is what I tried to do the first 2 years. I tried to do it by myself, and it didn't work. So that's why, I just want you guys to know, if you're flailing, if things aren't working for you, seek help, seek guidance, even if that's a peer, even if you don't have money to hire a coach or take a program, get an accountability buddy, hook up with somebody that is, in your industry that you can, powwow with. You've got to connect with people. This is so important. All right, I'm actually going to, somebody just posted something that I want to address. Let's see. Jen says, the thing that sucks about my industry is you're not allowed to promote or even talk about yourself in a lot of the groups, because they consider it promotional, even if you're not sharing links to your stuff. Are you able to just share content? Are you able to just give them tips? Are you able to just say, here are the, 5 basic, tools of storytelling? That's what I would do in the ones that you can't promote yourself. You can still give valuable information. You can still show up in those groups. You can do random posts. You can ask questions, things like that. So, there's definitely ways around that. Thank you, Andrea. I think that helped some people. I think that's on your guys' end, not mine, right? All right, I think that's her. All right, good. So now I'm jumping back over to the slides. All right, so next, I just created. So content is so important. Literally, if you walk away from this webinar today with 2 things, it's that you need to create content and you need to take action. If you can create content and take action, you've got it in the bag. You can be successful. These are the things that I feel like are holding people up. They're waiting for perfection, so they don't take action, and they don't have enough content to put out there to showcase their expertise. So that was another thing I did consistently. I was just creating. I created blogs, guest blogs, promotions, new programs. I was coming up with new programs and courses all the time, webinars, challenges, engaging Facebook posts, videos, anything you can think of, guys. Continue to just create lots and lots of valuable content. Next thing was free calls. I actually did a series of free calls that included trainings similar to this webinar. I did this weekly. I gave no pitch at all. I was just giving information. I was giving value to the people, and this actually helped my business so much. I actually grew my list by 600 with no Facebook advertising, just doing these weekly free calls, because people started talking about the free calls. They were 15 minutes long. They were called wake up calls. And I did them, specifically to just get my name out there and give value, and it worked. Next was free coaching. So I offered 60 plus, probably more, free coaching calls. So these weren't consult, they weren't discovery calls. They were pitch-free mini sessions. This, I believe, is what skyrocketed my business in those first couple of months of this year. So I see a lot of new coaches that don't want to give free calls. They don't want to quote unquote work for free. But here's my deal. If you're not booked with paying clients, you need to be coaching people for free, period. You need to hone in on your craft. You need to get confidence. You need to get testimonials. So if you're not booked solid, you should be doing some sort of free coaching calls or assessments to fill your book to get people on the phone. Next was list building. I was constantly thinking about ways that I could get people on my list. In that first year when I was doing Instagram, or in 2014 when I was doing Instagram, I actually built my entire list. I had a list of 300, so I built it from 300 to 3,000 just using Instagram. In this year, the 2015, I started doing guest posting, challenges, kick-ass opt-ins, free calls, free offers, webinars, trainings, anything I can think of that people could opt into so that I could grow my list. Sometimes you wonder when I sleep. I actually do sleep. Kim says it's on a free call that I met you. See? And 10 months later, 11 months later, she's still hanging around. See how that happens? So yeah, I get this question probably every week. Like, oh, I don't want to do free, or, people say I shouldn't work for free. And like I said, if this is your craft, if this is what you're going to be doing, do the free calls. You're not doing anything but serving. And if you come from a place of service rather than coming from a place of desperation, you will eventually reach the success that you want to succeed. So it is lead with service. All right, so I want to talk about exactly what I did in my first 3 months of business to make that 100K in the first 3 months. Some of you may have seen these slides before, but it's always good to see them again because, let's face it, it's kick-ass, and you guys can totally copy this. So I am going to quickly run through what I did specifically, and then after that, I'm going to have you guys, have your pen and paper ready so that you can actually write down exactly what you can do as you go into 2016 and you want to just really kick up that momentum and have, your 5-figure months, maybe even a 6-figure month. All right, so January of 2014, I hustled. I hustled my ass off. Actually, been hustling my ass off all year, but you know, that first hustle was an Instagram program. And this is what I did to get started. This is what I did to get my name out there. It was something that I knew I was good at. I had built my Instagram following, I think at that time, up to like 20,000 people. So I just taught people how to do Instagram. With that Instagram course alone, and I believe it was $279 that I was charging for it, I booked $16,000 with just this one program. And that $16,000 allowed me to keep going. It allowed me to keep investing in coaching and making my business better. The next thing I did was a confidence challenge. So this is another challenge that I did in my group. I did the pitch free mini sessions. I did more than 40. I don't know why I have 40 in there, but pitch free mini sessions I did. I was booked up for weeks with these. Next, I created a no-brainer offer. I still remember this offer to this day, and it was about 10 months ago. I was starting to gain a little bit of traction in the groups, especially after I did all of those free sessions. And so I offered 7 spots for a no-brainer 1-hour strategy session with me for $150. Those people had to sign up that day, and the hour was going to be the following day because I actually had gotten a babysitter for my son, so I had a full 8 hours to do calls, and those sold out within hours. Next thing was I just followed up with everyone that I talked to, everyone that I connected with in groups, everyone that I had chatted with on Messenger, all of the people that I did free sessions with, all of the people that I did no-brainer sessions with. I followed up with everyone. So if you are struggling, if you are wondering, how can you make money now? It's that low-hanging fruit. So anybody that you've talked to before, anybody that's on your radar, anybody that you've chatted with, anybody that you've connected with in groups, reach out to them, do that personal outreach, and get that low-hanging fruit. That is how you can make money right now, today. Next, I ran a small group program. So this is my first ever group program. I wanted 10 people in there. I believe I ran it for $497, so a little bit less than $500. What I ended up doing was I ran that for 6 weeks at the $497, and 3 of those people that took that actually ended up converting to long-term clients, and they were paying me $3,500 for 3 months. So another thing for you guys to do, if you are having trouble getting clients, think about creating a really small, no-brainer group thing where you can show your stuff, show your expertise, and then upsell those people into working with you full time. All right. Actually, let me pop back into the questions. I see some questions. Hi, Molly. She's here. Let's see. How long is the free call? My free calls were 20 minutes, I believe. I left space for 30 minutes. So most of them went to 30 minutes, but I wouldn't do any more than 20 to 30 minutes. How do I advertise my free calls? At that time, I was advertising my free calls just in Facebook groups. That's it. So I was already being really, really present in those groups. People knew who I was. They were starting to see my name a lot. So that's where the visibility came in. And I just put it out there. I just said, hey, I'm doing, a series of free calls. If you want in, just send me a PM. Actually, I believe I just put the link to schedule. That's what I did. And then I ended up having to just delete the link because I had so many bookings. I couldn't even handle them. Cheryl says, when did you start your first Facebook group? First Facebook group I did when I did my very first challenge in 2014. So it wasn't relevant to what I'm doing now, but that's when I started my first Facebook group. Molly says, do you have a program on how you create programs, or have you thought about doing that? In the Little Black Business Book, Molly, you're in it, I do have a form, kind of a worksheet on how to create programs. And actually, it's funny that you bring this up because me and my coach were actually just thinking about doing something very similar. Kelly, hey, Kelly, how are you? Awesome, guys. I'm going to jump right back in so we can hopefully get done here by 8, which I'm not really sure if that's going to happen. So, all right. So February of 2015, this is when I did the wake up calls. So these are the calls that I was telling you about that I did. Basically, people just called in on my teleconference line, and I did a quick 15-minute, no fluff, no pitch, just straight value 15-minute call. And I did 8 of these in a row for 8 weeks in a row. These really, really helped me with my business because people really enjoyed them. They just liked them. They were able to hop on, get really great information for 15 minutes. They weren't being sold to. And like I mentioned, I was able to grow my list by over 600 with just doing these calls for 8 weeks in a row. The reason why I stopped that was because I was just getting tired of promoting it. So because it was every week, I felt like I was doing like a huge promotion every single week to promote the wake up call. So I did stop doing those. Next, I created and sold another program. This one was called the 10K Lab, and it was to help people really focus in on creating their 10K program. And I believe I sold that for $1,000, and I sold 6 of those. So this is how I started, guys. I didn't start right off the bat, charging $10,000 for my programs or charging, a whole lot of money. Like, I was just starting really slow. I was really focusing in on my strengths, just really thinking about what could I create that is a no-brainer? What could I create that people are just going to want to grab up and they can't say no to? So, think about that. Think about what you can create for your people that they're just going to want to jump on it when you create it. How frequently do you recommend creating new programs, Lauren? That is a really good question. I feel like I create new programs a lot, but I would say anywhere, maybe like every 2 to 3 months, I would create a new program. Emily says, this is amazing. It makes it all seem so attainable. Exactly. And this is why I want to show you guys, like, literally step by step, like, this is what I did. And as you can see, I literally started from nothing, So the next thing I did was I just booked clarity calls weekly. And how did I book clarity calls? I was already visible in those groups. So I literally just asked. I would tell a story. I would put a great picture up of my son or a picture of me or something like that. And I would literally say, if you want to find out, how you can do this in your business, if you want to find out how to work with me, book a clarity call. And I was able to book, a lot. I guess during February, I booked 30 clarity calls, which is awesome, considering it's a short month as well. So just ask for it. A lot of people try to cover it up and fluff it up and call it something else, but just be straight and ask for the clarity call. Say, this is what I can do for you, and this is what I can do for your business. Let's book a call. Let's get on the phone and talk about how we can make it happen. Boom, that's it. People who want it are going to book. The people who don't, won't. Jen says, is it okay to have 2 main programs and just focus on them, or do you have to create new stuff all the time? No, you don't have to create new stuff all the time. You can have your signature programs. What I did here was I was still in my transitioning phase here. So that's why I was just coming up with new things, because it was just new ways for people to work with me. And I was really testing out the waters, seeing what people were responding to and seeing what people liked. So these were just really small things. One was, like I said, 6 weeks, and the other one was 4 weeks. So I was really just testing the waters. If you're already in the groove in your business, like you are, Jen, and actually how I am now, I have, basically 4 ways that people can work with me, and that's pretty much it. So yes, you don't have to always be creating new stuff, but if you are in a place where you're not getting traction, if you can come up with something that's quick, that's easy, that's a no-brainer, create it, put it out there, and you can make some quick cash. All right, so in February of 2015 is when I finally created my new group. So I had a group previously, but it was a lot of my old clients and old things like that. So I created a new group, and I had 1,500 members within 2 months. I did weekly giveaways, lots of engagement. That group is up to 4,500 today, and it's an awesome group. I'm sure most of you are in it. And then also in February, which is my birthday, I did a birthday giveaway, and I think I increased my list about another 150 doing that. Let's see. Jen says, I'm trying to make 2016 less about creating stuff and more about creating my own fiction writing. Okay, yeah, that's perfect. Let's see. I have the feeling that people are shy of booking clarity calls because they think they're being sold to and do not want to get your time for free. Yes, I do sort of agree with you when it comes to that, just because, there's so many people. I think what happened was a lot of people were masking pitch free mini sessions or free sessions as a clarity call. So people would go into it thinking that it was just a free call, but then they would end up in a sales pitch. So I think that's why a lot of people are, don't want to book the clarity calls. So I sort of agree with you there, but I do feel that, if you word it correctly and you let them know this is a discovery session, and if you have a great intake process where you're having them fill out a form, where you're really letting them know like this is what the call is about, then there's no room for mistake or error there. So I hope that answers your question. All right, so March of 2015. In March is when I surveyed my ideal client again. I did a ton through, I just created a form, I think on Wufoo or Typeform or something like that. So I had a ton of people respond to that. And then I actually wanted to do 10 phone interviews, because the phone interviews, I feel like are a little bit more effective than somebody just filling out a form, because they don't really have time to think about their answer. They're really going to give it to you straight. And during that phone interview, I actually ended up booking 2 of the people, because the questions that I asked made them realize that they needed me. So there's another way right there that you can possibly get a new client this month if you want to. Next, I did the 1616 giveaway, and this was to promote my new VIP program, which it's so funny because I didn't even end up doing this VIP program, but I ended up giving away 16 more free sessions, and I just created a lot of buzz around the giveaway. So I had tons and tons of people engaging on my Facebook posts and things like that. Next, I ran the free Get a Client in a Week challenge, another challenge I ran. I ran challenges probably every other month this entire year. They work. If you have not done a challenge, if you are thinking about doing a challenge and you just haven't done it yet, go out there and do it. It will do wonders for your business. Your first one may not be what you want it to be. I know mine wasn't, but if you can get into the zone of doing them and really giving your people what they want, this is a great list builder, great way to connect with your audience, great way to showcase your expertise, and really give people a taste of what it's like to work with you. Next, I did what I called my KLT call, which was Know, Like, and Trust. And this was actually my first real call that I did to promote my group program, which was Babes That Shine, the mastermind. So that's what I did at the end of that month. And in the next slide, I'm pretty sure I talk about how many people signed up for that. Emily says, how the heck do you keep track of all of this? Good question, Emily. There's a reason why I'm not going over this for the remainder of the year, because I have just gotten so busy and inundated. But yeah, I mean, I really just, I think it's important to keep track of what's working and what's not, right? So I want to know, if I run this specific program and if I spend this much money in ads, or I spend, a 7-day challenge, am I going to get a return on my money? Is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be worth my time? Is it smart to run this group program? Is it smart to invest in advertising? So definitely want to see what's working and see what's not. Marble says, how did you transition all of your personal Facebook over to your business, or did you start under a business name versus private name? If you're talking about my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, it was just always Jen Scalia. And I really don't use my personal page at all for business stuff. Every once in a while I'll post something about business, but I really don't. If I didn't have a business, technically I wouldn't have Facebook. So yeah, just keep it. If you want to keep it separate, just keep it separate. If you want to keep it together, then do that. There's people that do both. How do you get so many ideas for content challenges and programs? Yes, I'm a content machine. I create. And this is something I talk about a lot too, which is when I was doing the life coaching and the confidence coaching, I struggled so much with creating content because it wasn't what I was passionate about. It wasn't what I was aligned with. So if you're having trouble coming up with content for whatever your business is, check in and make sure that this is really what you are supposed to be doing, that you're really aligned with this work. Because now that I'm aligned with this work, things just come to me. Like it literally just comes to me in the shower, comes to me while I'm waiting in line at the grocery store, comes to me while I'm driving, because I'm so passionate about what I do. So I don't have an issue ever with creating content. You can also repurpose your content. So if you have webinars, you can turn that into a PDF. If you have a podcast interview, you can turn that into an opt-in. Tons of different ways that you can do that. How often do you recommend running a challenge? How much would you suggest to invest in advertising to start? Running a challenge, probably once a quarter. I would do it once a quarter. So once every 3 months. And advertising, it really depends. Really depends on what your business is, depends on what you're advertising, depends on if you're just doing the advertising for the challenge, if you're doing it to grow your list. So yeah, I would start at least with $10 a day. Anywhere from $10 to $30 a day, I think, is a good starting point. She says, thank you for actually answering all of our questions. You're welcome. All right, going back to the slides. So I want to do the breakdown. I want to actually show you guys the numbers because lots of people talk about numbers, but we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, right? We can see the numbers, but we don't really know how much it costs them to have those numbers, what their profit margins are, what their expenses are. So very quickly, that Instagram training I talked about, my first 5K or my first 5-figure month in December was when I made the $12,000, and I made that through the Instagram training. That actually rolled over into January. So in January, my Instagram training brought in an additional $5,000. I did that Shake It Up group program. I actually got 11 women in there at $500, which is $5,500. And then I love this part because you can actually see the progression in how I did incremental upgrades with my pricing. So when I first started taking my one-on-one clients, I was just charging $3,000. So I had 3 people sign up for that for a total of $9,000. Then I raised my price to $3,600, had booked 9 clients at that price for $32,400. And then I raised my price again to $5,000, booked 7 people at $5,000 for an additional $35,000. The 10K Lab, which was the program to help people create their 10K program, was at $997. I sold 6 of those for $6,000. I had my Babes Mastermind, which you can see here. I did an early bird special. I had 8 people sign up for that. The regular price, 4 people signed up for that. So that was an additional, $6,700. Shake It Up, I actually had a one-off call, which I don't do one-off calls anymore. And I had 4 people sign up for that for $1,400. And then I did a couple other things, just like special offer calls, which was like that no-brainer call for $150. I also did a special for my birthday, and that was an additional $2,000. So January, February, March of 2015, the total that I booked in clients was $103,000, give or take. Some of these stuff were like $497 and I just put $500, but give or take $103,000. So let me talk about my expenses, because during that time I actually spent money too. I actually hired life coaches for $2,000, spiritual coach for $1,500, some here and there biz coaching sessions for $1,500. At the time, I was paying my VA about $160 a month. Graphic designer I had on call. My sales copy, who Erica Lee Strauss is my salesperson. She does all of my sales copy. She also does my clients copy, and she's awesome. Business expenses were approximately about $525 a month. So this is like my GetResponse, my scheduler, all kind of like those small business systems where I had like recurring payments. New branding, I actually did pay for new branding in the beginning of the year, and that cost me $675. Other programs, coaching, courses, about another $3,000, and then I spent about $800 in client gifts. Emily says, what is a one-off call? One-off call is just one session. So if you go to my website right now, you can't just book one session with me. I don't work that way. I work with my clients long-term. So one-off call would just be one session coaching. So let me see. Yeah, so 103,000 minus 12,000. That was about, I guess, $90,000 in that time. So still not bad, right? For 3 months. So why did I do this? Why am I so passionate about this? Why do I want to share with you guys every single little thing that I did? And it's because, the money didn't, it allowed me freedom, obviously, but it allowed me to do so much more. It allowed me to pay for my own coaches. It allowed me to pay off credit card debt. I'm actually almost done. I really just have my car to pay off and another small credit card. It allowed me to travel when I wanted. This is actually a picture of me the first time I was in San Diego. It allowed me to live worry-free. I didn't have to worry about anything anymore like I did just literally less than 3 years ago, when I was talking about all of the shit that was going on in my life, and how terrible it was. So if you can think, how fast the last 2 or 3 years went in your life, could you imagine, even if you're starting at ground zero, even if you're starting at nothing today, look 2 to 3 years from now, how things can dramatically change for you. More freedom, like you guys said, you want that more freedom. I'm happier, right? My relationships have improved. My relationship with my parents has completely improved, which is really awesome because it's always been a struggle with them. All right, so that was the first 3 months, and what I did, from April till today, wash, rinse, repeat. I just did the same things over and over and over and over and over again. And I'm going to actually show you guys what you can do. So grab your pen, grab your paper. I'm about to go through everything that you can do in the, even you can start in December, and you can have, a rockin' first quarter of 2016. So this was an upward momentum for me. Once I figured out the formula, once I figured out what had to be done, I just kept doing it. I didn't stop. I was very, very consistent. I was always creating things. I was always putting out offers, always putting out promotions, always being very, very present. And just wanted to show you a screenshot of my Get Response. These are all the campaigns that I ran for this year. So look how many different things I came up with and created as ways that I could get people on my list, ways that I could communicate with my audience. So I was always creating things, and this is proof right here. All right, so questions. Can you tell us more about how actually to do a challenge? I can't in this webinar because we're running out of time, and it's actually something that I teach in my programs. Jen says, how did you keep your vibe high when the money dwindled? Before you started making so much, it never dwindled again. I find that when I'm on fire and manifesting tons of money, I'm good. But when things slow down a bit, the money starts dwindling. I have a harder time staying high vibe when I've got the money coming in. Yeah, it makes sense. It totally makes sense. And I think it's just really, it's that mindset, right? We have to always be in that zone. And I'm actually, going to talk about this a little bit at the end. So just hold your thought right there. All right. So how you can do it. All right. Hope you have your pen. Number 1, free coaching offers to get your name out there. If you are brand new, do not be shy about offering things for free. You need the confidence. You need to make sure that you're good at what you do. You can get testimonials this way. Offer free coaching. Like I mentioned, if your book is not solid with paid coaching clients, then you need to be doing it for free on some capacity. Next is giveaways and contests. Super easy. People love giveaways. People love contests. So go out there, think of what your audience really could enjoy and like, and run a giveaway or a contest. Run a challenge. Absolutely, totally recommended for you to run a challenge if you're in any kind of service-based industry. Next is to create an awesome lead magnet or an opt-in. So don't create a crappy one. Create one that's really, really good. My 26 ways opt-in that I created in April has been kick-ass. It's been downloaded by thousands and thousands of people. I always get people that are complimenting me on it, that are saying how valuable it was. One woman wrote me and told me that, it was more valuable than a $2,000 course that she bought. So this is the kind of stuff that's going to leave an impression on people. Make sure that when you create your lead magnet or your opt-in, that it's good. That's not just, you're not just thinking like, oh, I have to put something out there, so I'm just going to create this. Make it really effing good. Next is to host free training calls and webinars, just like this one. You'll get lots of people to, feel your vibe, hear your expertise. You can grow your list this way. So do training calls and webinars. Excellent way to showcase your expertise and show people you know what you're talking about. Next is to run Facebook ads. So most of the stuff that I talked about in the January to March, I didn't do any Facebook ads. I actually just started running Facebook ads in April. So run Facebook ads to target new audiences. If you only have a little bit of money and you're trying to build your list, you're either going to have to go super organic, spend a lot of time in groups, spend a lot of time with the organic stuff, or invest a little bit in Facebook ads to kind of get yourself going, but actually targeting the right people. Next is to guest post, and this will increase your visibility. It'll drive traffic back to your website, and you can be seen as an expert. If you're, writing for some bigger named media, you can put that on your website. It'll just showcase you as the expert. Next, use social media, forums, Facebook groups, any kind of social media, whatever one you enjoy most, to connect and build relationships. Create a no-brainer offer, which is what I did with the $150 one, which is what I did with my $500 course. And when you create that no-brainer offer, don't just let those people go. If those people purchase from you, you want to make sure that you upsell them to something else. So you want to make sure that even though it's a no-brainer offer and it may be at a lower cost, make sure that it's good so that they want more. Next, create a lower cost program, $500 program that runs for maybe 4 weeks. Make sure the offer has urgency or else people aren't going to jump on it. Do that. Like I said, again, get those people to upsell into a bigger program with you. Next, survey your ideal clients and give a free session as a thank you. This works. Like I mentioned before, when I did my survey, I actually had booked 2 clients from that because as they were answering the questions in the survey, they realized that they needed a coach, and I was that coach for them. Next, follow up with everyone, every single person you talk to. Obviously, if you're very busy now or if you're very successful, you might not have time to do that. But if you are struggling, if you're not there yet, make sure you follow up with everyone that you connect with. What I did was I kind of had it on a schedule. I had a layout where I knew when I contacted that person, and I would contact them every 2 to 3 weeks just to check in, see how they were doing, things like that. Next, collaborate. So if you're brand new, find somebody that is your peer. Find someone that is maybe another coach or another service provider and collaborate with them and see if you can leverage their audience. The most important thing is just to give tons of value, and be very consistent. Consistency. So value plus consistency equals money. That's it, guys. That's all you have to do. All right. So what are you willing to do? What are you willing to put on the line? What do you want to happen with your business? What if I told you, and this one's for you, Jen, what if I told you that you would never have to worry about money again? So when I was struggling, someone told me this. And when they said that, this huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. And I was just like, wow, I never have to worry about money again. And I never did from that moment. And I really believed it. So I want to tell you guys, same thing. You don't ever have to worry about money again. You need to believe that. You need to believe that what you're doing and this vision that you have for your business is so much bigger than any worries that you have, than any doubts that you have, and you just have to keep going. So how would your life change? How would your life change if you had, a $500,000 year? How would your life change if you had a $100,000 quarter? How would your life change if you had a $10,000 month, multiple $10,000 months? This is stuff that is so possible for you. And I just showed you how. I literally just showed you my formula and exactly how I did it. And it's repeatable. Like I said, repeatable process. Even right now, today, if my business died and I started something brand new tomorrow, I could get it right back up to $500,000 within a year. I know I could, because I would just go through the same exact formula and I would do it again. So what will you take action on today? I really want to hear from you guys. What was your biggest takeaway from today? And what is that one thing that, out of that whole list of things that I gave you, what is that one thing that you're going to take action on right now so that you can get your business where you want it to be? All right. So anybody else has questions? I actually did really, really good. It is 8:01. So I stayed on the mark, stayed on the money with you guys. So Jen, to answer your question, it was just to believe that I never had to worry about money again. So there you go, girl. Sasha says, how do you find a mentor that fits you without throwing money away? Well, first of all, you have to believe that you're not throwing money away. If you're automatically going into it thinking that you're going to waste your money or you're going to throw money away, then that's what you're going to get back in return. It's the law of attraction. That's, if you have that belief, that's what's going to happen to you. So go into it knowing that you're going to learn things. I've had multiple mentors. At one point, I was working with 5 different coaches. I was working with a business coach, a sales coach, a mindset coach, a health coach. So really, you have to go into the mentorship or looking for somebody that you really feel connected with. This is, the biggest thing when it comes to finding a coach, because there's so many great coaches out there, right? But who do you resonate with? Who do you connect with? Who has gotten results for their clients? Who has gotten results for themselves? And then you just go with your gut feeling. Samantha says, what changed your money mindset? I did a lot of internal work. I did some work with my coach. And one of the other things was that I did the Lucky Bitch course. For those of you who have taken that or have heard of it, totally changed my life, totally changed the way that I saw money, and also changed the way that I saw myself and my value and my worth. So definitely pick that up. I think that it's coming out again very soon. So definitely practice, lots and lots of practice, Samantha. It definitely didn't happen overnight. It was something that I had to work on consistently, and I'm still working on. Jen says, I just added, I will never have to worry about money again. Doesn't that sound awesome, Jen? Just reading that, like, I will never have to worry about money again. It's so powerful. And if you can get your head around that, and if you can really believe that, you'll never worry about money again. Kim says she got an idea for a program while listening. Awesome. Marble says, need to get a coach to get into alignment. Thank you for helping me to see this. Sherlyn says, I have to create more content and give more value. Paige says, increase my visibility and start promoting myself. Yes, Paige, don't be shy. There is no room for, no shame. Just go out there. If you have something that people need, go out there and tell them. Sasha says, changing my mindset and implementing challenges to my clients. Andrea, run a challenge. Yes. Jen says, fuck yeah, exactly. Love it, love it, love it. Anything else, guys? Any questions? I'm here right now. So any questions you have, you want to pick my brain. I have my steak cooking for me, so I'll be ready in a little bit. But I have a couple minutes for you guys if you have any questions. I love this. You guys are awesome. And Angelica says, run a challenge to do a free call. Catherine says, do you offer clarity calls still? Right now I do. I do offer clarity calls. It's something that I've been going back and forth with, but definitely still offer them. You can just go right to my website. Cheryl says, it's 6 weeks till 2016. Just bought that domain. Now I need to create something. What domain? What domain did you make? And I can't believe it's only 6 weeks. I really can't believe it's like Thanksgiving next week and the rest of the year is crazy. We started a call, but we're disconnected. Oh, Sasha, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Just send me an email. Send me an email. This next week is crazy because of the holiday, and then I'm off to Bali to mastermind with one of my mentors, which is super, super awesome. All right. Anybody else? Questions, comments? What did you learn? What's the domain, Cheryl? I actually just bought a domain. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Jen answers emails. Yes, I do. Let's see. This is the domain I just bought. Let me see. $1 million. Awesome. 6 weeks to 2012. Awesome. So $1millionmommy.biz. It's a domain I just bought like 2 weeks ago. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but that is probably going to be my next big thing. I own a ton of domains, no idea what to do with most of them. Yeah, it's just fun buying them, right? Sparks of inspiration, give you some ideas. But yeah, you could even like create programs and just have your program go directly to that specific domain. Let's see, 6 weeks to 2012. Awesome. Anybody else? questions, comments? Well, we had a lot of people, actually more people on the line than I thought would be. How do you water down all your info to do a 1 hour call? I never know how to pick what to talk about. There's so much. Well, I don't water down my info. I think I just talk really fast and I have a plan. I just have a plan. I know exactly what I'm going to talk about, have it completely planned out. Like I said, I kind of talk really fast. I don't waste a lot of time on me and myself, which I think cuts down a lot of time. I know when you're on some webinars, you're, listening to the person talk about themselves for 20 to 30 minutes and everything that they did. You can find all that stuff out on my website. So there's no need for me to waste your time with that. I just dive right into the content. All right, guys. You guys have any more questions? You're looking forward to see what comes about with that domain. Yes. Awesome, guys. Awesome. So if you guys don't have any more questions, let's see if I can jump on the live screen so you guys can see me. Marble says I have a corporate background, but no biz, I guess, no biz per se. How do I market myself starting out? I think you need to be a little bit more clear with that question. I don't really understand. Christine says, how do you balance time between family and work and get everything done that needs to be done? It's tough, but this is my full-time gig now. So right now I do as much as possible during the hours that my son is at school. I really try to be done by the time I pick him up from school. Right now it's a little tough because the holidays, they have half days and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I just really make sure that I'm really intentional about my time and I do what needs to be done while he's not here so that I can give him the attention he deserves when he is here. Angelica says, thank you for sharing. Any organizational tools you swear by? Chrissy, I'm pretty old school. I like the notes in my iPhone. I have tons and tons and tons of notes. I've tried to use Evernote before, but it just doesn't jive with me. I don't like it. So Google Docs and my notes in my phone, that's pretty much it. Stephanie says, I would like to add another service in addition to copywriting, but I don't want to dilute my niche. Do you think 6 months is too early to expand? Actually, this is a tip I got from one of my masterminds, was that you want to grow your business. If you're going to add another leg to your business, something that's completely different, you want to master what you're in first. So get this business, the copywriting business, to 6 figures first. Once you can get that copywriting business to 6 figures and it's running smoothly, then you want to, then you can expand. Then you can start doing other stuff. So stay focused on this copywriting. You're doing great already. So just focus on that, get that to 6 figures, then you can start to expand. Cheryl says, great content. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. What's the secret to a successful launch when you are new? The secret would be to not launch without an audience. So make sure that you are building up your audience. Make sure that you are connecting with your people. Make sure that you have that you've been building your list for some time, that you've been building your awareness and your visibility in groups before you launch. I think the people that don't have successful launches is because they have no community. They have nobody to launch to, and especially if you're new and you're not doing any Facebook ads, you really have to have a community of people that are ready to buy from you. One of my clients actually had her Facebook group and her community for about a year before she launched anything. And she was able to really connect with her people, really grow a really amazing tribe. And when she did launch her product, she ended up with like an $80,000 launch or $60,000 launch, something like that. But she had grown her entire tribe before she sold anything. So that would be my advice to you. Yes, exactly. Do everything I just shared and then launch. Exactly. All right. Let's see. Anybody else? Do you use Facebook ads to sell your programs or just to get people on my list? Just to get people on my list. So Facebook ads don't really work. If you're targeting cold traffic and you're sending them straight to a sales page, doesn't really work. You've got to get the lead, which is basically getting them on your mailing list first, and then you can sell to them, through your mailing list, or once they're on your mailing list, you can retarget them with retargeted ads in Facebook. So then you can sell your program that way. All right, let's see here. All right, I'm back. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you had a great time with me. I'm going to be off to have some dinner, and that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, go into the Facebook group, Babes That Shine. Tag me in there if you have any questions. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.